Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert. So since the last episode, I have expanded these out. Like I talked about last episode, I went ahead and did that because I was doing a bunch of botania prep anyways. So I did bring these out, so there is, of course, 9 sets of 8 pure daisies. So we'll be able to do 9 stacks at a time. It's way overkill. It's way overkill. But maybe long term, I come in, I grab 9 stacks of living wood or living rock or something, and then it just, within a minute, it's filled right back. So this means that we'll never, unless we're just waiting on wood or arcane stone or something, which we don't have arcane stone automated just yet. We will be doing that before too long. But living wood, I think, is more the priority at the moment. And this one is set up, like I said, it's exactly identical to that one over there, except for the fact that it's a little bit easier because we don't have to drop the liquid starlight, the wood into the liquid starlight or the stone or whatever. This is just craft arcane stone, make living rock. So I got that set up, and I moved our water meals over to here, and I may expand on this a little bit, but I did set them up over here and got them out of that just random place where they've been sitting for like 40 episodes now. I got them moved over to here, and I also went ahead and expanded our GP production by adding in some fire meals, kind of spread out around out here. So you can see there's one there, and it's all the way around, and then out here there is 2 additional ones, to where we are generating a total of 129 grid power. It's a little bit higher right now, I guess, because those solar panels are still set up, but I wanted to make sure that we had enough grid power for what we're going to be doing today without necessarily needing the solar panels running, and to make sure that I could still fly around even when we have stuff running. But we're going to do something today to kind of boost that up. Now over here, I have been prepping quite a bit. We've got a lot of things here, and looking at this, a lot of you probably know what I'm going to be doing for the wood farm. We actually set one up kind of similar to this. We're going to make it a little bit bigger than, I guess, the last one that I set up. But this is a wood farm that also doubles as pretty good mana generation. It does take a few components, but all this stuff is really cheap. I think the farthest that you have to get is warp lenses. So getting your Elven Gateway is all that you really have to do. The rest of this is all really cheap. It's just a lot of stuff. And I may have to get a few more things. I was just kind of building it in my mind, so I was just kind of prepping the things that came to mind. So I probably forgot some things. We'll see. We shall see. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into setting this up. And I was debating where I wanted to set this up at, because it is decently large, but I actually think it will all fit into one of these. I think. I may change my mind. I haven't actually measured this, but I think it's going to actually fit into this quite nicely. And we can find out pretty quick if we just grab our mana splitter and our coarse dirt, and we'll go ahead and get our ranning carpusses and our diluted pools and our spreaders. And I already realized that I didn't make enough spreaders. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and start off with this and make sure that it fits before we get any more into it, I think. And the nice thing about having it over here is, of course, it's going to be visible. I think it's going to look pretty cool. And then in addition, we will also be able to hide some of the stuff down under the ground. I think this is the middle point. Right? Yeah, this is the middle point. Alright, so break that off. And we'll put in our mana splitter right here. That's where our mana splitter is going to go. Okay, and from here, we're going to put out diluted pools, like so. And then these diluted pools, right next to them is going to set elven mana spreaders, like that. And actually, let me, yeah, I'm probably going to need this broken off anyways. So we'll break off that, which I guess I could do this so I can actually keep my pods all in case I need to put it back. Let's see. Mana splitter. we'll put this in right here. And let me go ahead and open this up just so that we can get down here pretty easily. I think this one's one of the ones that's all lit up. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come out like 2 maybe. So if we had a coarse dirt there, oops, and each one of these will be where a tree can grow. So I think putting a 3-block range on this is pretty good. Then we'll come out 2. The shovel sometimes is too fast. And this is going to put only a 1-block range on the corners. Not really a big deal for us though. Realistically, because these won't all be grown at the same time anyways. So do that. Oops. Keep doing that. 2, 3. And, I mean, I guess I could back it up more. But the thing is, then I'd start getting close to this grass, or this glass. I don't know. I might back it up, actually. We'll see. Because right now, that would be the setup. The only thing is the elevator is going to be swamped, but not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see. If we brought this out one more. Just in each direction here. But yeah, I thought about tree beacons. I was like, I could do that. It's so easy with a tree beacon. But at the same time, tree beacon's just so boring that I was like, it's been a while. I think the last time we set one of these up on camera was like Qantas, maybe. And it was a lot smaller, I think, than this one. Because this pack, we just have a lot more of everything than we did at the time on Qantas. So I think this will be good. The trees will grow. I mean, it might come up right on the edge of the glass. Okay. It's not like it's going to break the glass. So I think this will be okay. And we'll make adjustments if we need to. But we're going to put in coarse dirt on each of these. And let me get... I don't think that I have one. Let me check. But I'd like to get a Mana Seer Monocle because it would actually be really, really useful for us. It feels like it's been forever since we finished a quest, to be honest. I did set up weirding gadgets down through here because those are one of those things I like to just make it in bulk. They're not expensive. They just, I don't know, it's one of those things that I hate making unless I'm making them in bulk. So I made up a bunch of those. That does mean that our base is kind of chunk loaded here. Which is good. Alright, let's pop up. And I want to make sure that 2 Ranning Carpusses can cover this entire area. So if we had, say, one Ranning Carpus here, yeah, this is going to cover it. And then one right there, that's going to cover that. There is surprisingly no overlap. I thought there would be... okay. There's no overlap on any of it, so... it doesn't matter if there is, because if you have 2 Ranning Carpusses covering an area, it's basically just double the speed of having 1 Ranning Carpus. But, I mean, I could move these in and I'd get a lot more overlap, like set them up there, which... yeah, let's do that, actually. Let's just, there we go. And that's the core of it, to be honest. We're going to go ahead and get the above ground part built, and then we'll do all the like mana gen and stuff for this. And basically, of course, whenever items drop on the Ranning Carpus, so for example, if I was to drop a piece of dirt there, you can see that one of the Ranning Carpusses grabbed it, they dropped it into there. Now right now, if we take a look, yeah, actually one of them covers the entire area. So that's kind of nice. So that means we basically have 2 Ranning Carpusses managing every single plot. And that just means stuff's going to get placed faster. Let's see. Ranning Carpusses do not require mana. They're just going to be faster if they have mana. So in that case, we're going to bind... I think. Let me... we'll see once we start running it. I think it increases the range too if they have mana, but I cannot recall. My book is in the crate. That's fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do, since this does seem like it's going to fit, let's pop through and let's grab ourselves. Let's grab the bore and warp lenses and 4 of our slime balls. Let's grab our pistons. And what we're going to do, we're going to make warp bores. Or bore warps. Let's do bore warps. We're going to make composite mana lens bore warp, which I think we've talked about composite lenses in here, but basically any 2 lenses, if you combine them together with a slime ball, you're going to get a combination lens, which is what we want. And this basically, the bore warp means that it's going to bore through blocks. If you recall, we've used bore lenses a bunch. That tends to be, I think, one of the most used lenses in the game. And the reason being is because the bore lens is going to break any blocks that's in its path. The warp lens is going to then allow it to basically teleport or warp through any relays that you have set up. And let me get this. I'm going to need that. And over here, we're going to take our pistons real quick. And we're going to toss these into mana pools. Takes a little bit of mana, not a whole lot. And your pistons then become force relays. And force relays are a magical block. You can place these down. You'll notice that we can break them with a pick, but if you do, unless it's been changed, and I don't want to do it because I have just enough at the moment. But it's not going to drop a force relay if you break it with a pick. You have to use a Wand of the Forest and then just shift right click to break these off. So if you do place them down, make sure that you use the Wand of the Forest for that. I like to always mention that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take our bore warp lenses and we're going to put these down on each of these elven mana spreaders. Just like so. And then right above these elven mana spreaders, we're going to put down force relays. And then right on top of those force relays, we're going to put down diluted mana pools. And the reason we have diluted mana pools on top of the force relays is that if you don't, the elven mana spreader, it's not really going to detect it. I'll show you, for example, here in just a second. But it's not going to detect that there's anything where it can actually shoot a burst to. And so without the diluted mana pool, it's just going to sit there because it doesn't see anything above it unless you happen to have another mana pool above it. Because it doesn't see the force relay. It doesn't really recognize that as anything. It's basically sees it as like an air block. But any burst that hits that force relay is going to be teleported through the force relay into whatever you bind it to. So for example, what we're going to do is this force relay, we're going to bind it over to here. And we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's what I usually like to have it as. And we're going to put down a force relay here. And we're going to put down a diluted mana pool here. And we're going to do the same thing on all of these. But what we're going to do is, if you recall, this force relay, it's bound to here. Let's just make sure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bind this force relay to here. Okay. And now what happens is if this gets mana, let's see, I've got a tablet somewhere, I think. Yeah, I've got a mana tablet. Let me just drain off. Go ahead and give this mana. Okay, so it's this one. What we'll do is we'll say, yeah, give mana to the pool. You can see that the mana burst shoots up and then it comes over to here. And it just deposits the mana at the moment, which is fine. And it's going to keep shooting bursts. Now, you could set this up on some kind of a redstone system to have it not burst so often. We're going to keep it going because it's not really going to use any mana unless there's a block for it to break. So, for example, if we put in, some cobblestone, you can see that it breaks that cobblestone. And even if there's blocks over here, it's still going to break that cobblestone. Now, once we have the tree farm set up, it's going to be breaking wood, of course. But in this case, it's going to be breaking that cobblestone. So let's go ahead and we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I guess really I could just come over like that. It's a little bit easier. And once again, put that. And we're going to bind that to there, that to there. Oh, and the random carpus grabs some of that cobblestone and that cobblestone. And you can imagine what we're going to end up with is a pretty nice looking, these things actually look pretty good when they're running, a pretty nice looking tree farm, and very, very practical also. I've set one of these up, well, I think I've set them up a couple times, but I do think the most recent one was Qantas. So it's just one of those things that I think gets overlooked. Even I overlook it a lot of times, even though it's a lot of fun to set up. It gets overlooked because there's so many, not necessarily easier ways. I mean, this is a really easy tree farm to set up. But there's more compact or faster tree farms out there. So it just kind of gets overlooked a lot, I think. Also, one thing to bear in mind is your force relays. Like, for example, this is pretty straightforward. They're shooting up. But based on the direction of your mana pulse, like if I was to set the force relay here and had the mana spreader shooting out over in this direction, then it would come out here and it would go off in this direction. So pretend like this block is the force relay, and whichever direction that mana burst hits the block out, it's going to continue on the opposite side in that same direction. So just kind of bear that in mind. It's not always going to go up if you don't set it up this way. It's going to go in a different direction. But this is basically the setup here. Now, one last thing we need to do is we need to add in some elven mana spreaders. And these are going to sit in, I think right here would be okay. No, it's going to hit that. That's not what I want. Let's see, actually, I have an idea. We're going to put it there, 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 and there. And I think this is going to look pretty cool. What we're going to do is we're going to have these beams cross over. So this one's going to shoot down right there. This one's going to shoot down, if it can skip over the random carpus, which I think, yeah, it looks like it is. Awesome. Yeah, this one's starting to get mana already. This one's going to shoot down right there. This one is going to shoot down right there. And so we end up with this. And it's just going to constantly run and be shooting these beams all over the place. Oh, yeah, this is an example. This one I did bind. Let me go ahead and rebind it, though, because I just broke it. I forgot. I didn't put the diluted pool on top of this. And let me break that, just because I don't like it actually having mana in it. But this one, it's not firing off because we didn't put the diluted mana pool, right? I wanted to show you that that does not work. If you do not have the diluted mana pool there, as soon as I put one on top of it, it's going to start firing. So like I said, you do have to have that pool somewhere past the force relay. I mean, it could be higher up, you know, but it does have to be past it somewhere in that, the direction that the beam would be going. So we end up with this, which by itself, even without trees growing, it's a beautiful light show, I think. All these like shooting across everywhere. That's why I love Botania. It's just so pretty to watch it run. I think that's pretty stylish. The last one we did on Qantas, I think it only had like 2 trees in it. It was a whole lot smaller. This one is a little bit more going on. Now, if we had Gaia spreaders, you know, we could expand it out. But we don't have Gaia spreaders. You know what, though? I just cut costs there. In my mind, I was thinking I was going to have one spreader handling basically two inputs, and that's why I made potency velocity lenses. But we don't have that, you know, what I had originally in my head. So we're actually not going to need potency velocity. So we can save those, but I probably will use them for some of the mana production stuff. But in this case, it's actually faster you can see it's waiting a while on that next burst, because this is a lot farther for it to travel. It has to go there, come up here to actually hit the diluted pool, and it only has to go zip right over there. Not to mention, once this starts breaking blocks, it's going to be even faster because there's not going to be as much mana coming in here, because every block that it breaks, it uses up, the bore lens uses up a small amount of mana, so we don't even need the lenses on these, but we'll use them for some other stuff. Potency velocity tends to get used a lot, so that should be fine. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come down, we're going to grab these red string comparators, these comparators, the redstone tools, and the redstone interfaces, and we're going to just set up the mana redstone, which is actually super straightforward and simple, to be honest. And let me get some blocks real quick, and let me go ahead and just light this up, because this is a place I'd rather creepers not spawn in here. Plus we're gonna have the trees going. Once we get all this set up though, I'm gonna do floating flowers for the light. Just right now I do need light, some kind of light source, so we're going to light this up, and then we're going to pop down underneath, and we're going to use this little space here. Yeah, we'll just build it out like this. There we go, and we'll just light this up. There we go. And what I want to do is use these red string comparators, which these were really easy because we had most of them already prepped from the last episode. We're going to put red string comparators reading off of these diluted mana pools, just like this. And the reason we're doing that is because when it comes to this setup, one of the worst things that you can have happen, because of course we will be feeding mana into the system from kind of mana gens, endoflames, and things, kind of using some of the products from this tree farm. And one of the worst things that you can have happen is letting this get filled up on mana. Because what happens is when this gets filled up on mana, the mana starts getting stuck, because there needs to be space for it to shoot bursts, right? So for example, if this mana pool got filled up, and this one, and this one, and this one, then none of the bursts could go anywhere, and they'd just be stuck here, and inevitably it would back up the entire system. So we want to avoid that. We want to actually read our mana levels with this system and have it kind of react to how filled they are. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put in comparators on each of these. And so this is going to read, how much mana is in a given mana pool. And if we run this out, you can see 4. We have 0 in that one. We have 2. And we have 0 in that one. This one is probably the one that originally had the mana tablet. Oh, but you know what? It's a little bit different than the way I originally had it set up. Yeah, because originally in my mind I had this shooting outwards. And then going to the spreader, like say out here, then that one would send it into the force relay system. But since I'm doing the force relays here, which I think it looks better like this than I had it in my mind, but we're going to have to adjust things just slightly. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the mana splitter entirely. We're not going to end up using that. And the reason being, it's just going to work out better for us if we don't have that. So let me just put the pods all back in, and we won't use the splitter there. And we're going to control individually the mana that shoots up into these. Yeah, this will be fine, but I am going to need to make some phantom lenses, but we'll get to that. So the redstone's going to come out here, and we're going to run this out just a little bit. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to put our redstone interface in here. And then once again, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a redstone interface in just to make this kind of look a little bit spiffy. 2, 3, 4, 5. And redstone. I know some people don't like redstone on grass. It doesn't matter. If it's out of sight, I don't really see a point in worrying about it, to be honest. So we're going to have redstone on grass, because this is not going to be really visible at all. And that's the way that the redstone's going to be set up. And then these interfaces are going to be set up, connected up to spreaders that are then toggled on and off based on, which really we could get rid of the redstone interfaces entirely. And instead have our spreaders at the end of this with the phantom lenses. Yeah, let's do that. We don't really need this. So We'll just cut that out. So yeah, I'm saving materials because I built this in my head. I was like, I don't really want to spend the time in a test world to set it up. Plus, it generally changes from test world most of the time, so I was like, I'm not worried about that. I am going to need more spreaders, but that's fine. So then what we'll do is we'll have spreader here, here, and here. So if the amount of mana in these ever get up to a 5, they're going to stop sending. And that's just so that we can never have more in these than what we actually need in these. So we'll send it there. My only concern is, let's see. I'll just have to wait and see. I don't think these would catch the Elven Mana Spreaders that are there. But I'll have to wait and see. So that one shoots up. No, it won't, for sure. That one shoots up there. This one shoots to there, to there, to there. So even underground, we're going to kind of have these, like this mana going kind of in all different directions. Now, I've got to make phantom lenses for this. That's fine. We'll get that. And I've got to make up some more spreaders. That's fine. We'll get that. But this is the general setup as far as the tree farm goes. And what happens now is, for example, if... Let me go get some saplings, which I only have 38 stacks of oak saplings. I don't know what I'm going to do. But this should produce plenty of wood for our system. So if we throw down these oak saplings, kind of just toss them down there, the raining carpusses should pick those up and begin planting those. So there we go. And then after a while, of course, these are going to grow. I'm going to go ahead and jumpstart this. Now, we don't have the actual pickup. We're going to get that in a second. But that one grows, and then you can see that it's cut away all the insides here. Now, the raining carpus is picking up the oak wood. That's fine. What we're going to do, we're going to deal with that here in just a moment. Okay, so the breaking part is working fine. That's all of that in place. That all works. Now we need to set up the actual collection and stuff. Alright, so what we're going to do is... Oh, there's a minecart there. I hadn't even noticed. Let's just grab ourselves a couple dead bushes. And then we'll warp back over. And we are going to get ourselves a couple boreal seeds. We toss in those dead bushes. There's our boreal seeds, and I grabbed these. I'm just going to go ahead and turn those into infestation spores in case we end up needing them. And let's grab ourselves our hopper hawks and the rest of our infestation spores. And we're going to set up item collection. Let me go sleep real quick, though. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our boreal seeds, and we're going to apply these to the Rannon Carpus to turn that into Podzol. And the reason is, if we take a look, let me go grab our Lexica Botania. If you're not familiar with what that does, is it... No. Right here. If you look at modulating delay, if you have a read through this, you're going to be able to slow things down. So Podzol makes a small delay. Mycelium creates a larger delay. And then nothing, just regular grass or any other pasture seed is going to make just a standard delay. So now if we were to throw down, say, a sapling, if we were to throw down one of these, you'll notice it takes a little bit longer before the Rannon Carpus grabs it. And that's what we want to see. We want it to take just a little bit longer. We don't want it to be quite so instant because we don't want it picking up wood. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our hopper hawks. Let's actually just grab an ender chest. Because I guess we're going to have this collect and feed directly into the ender chest line. Yeah, we'll do that. And so what we'll do is we'll come out, we'll have it kind of floating in the middle here. So we'll have it setting, say, right in here. Well, actually, let me bring this down by 1. We'll have it sitting there, and we're going to have the hopper hawk sitting on top of it. And we're going to have a sign. And let me go ahead and dye it too, because this is going to be the white line, which is always my input. We're going to go brown, white, brown for the wood line. We're going to put a sign that sets, I'm sorry, not a sign. I don't know why I made signs. We need item frames. And so what we'll do is we'll put an item frame in right there. I don't think it's going to block the mana, since it's kind of like a, yeah, it's like a half block. And we're going to put in this sign, we're going to put in oak wood. There we go. We're going to put in oak wood, and that means that this hopper hawk can only pick up oak wood. So for example, if I throw down a piece of cobblestone, we give it a second, you could say it gets picked up by the random carpus and broken. But if we instead throw down oak wood, you can see after just a second it's picked up by the hopper hawk thrown into this chest. That is perfect. And that's pretty much the oak wood collection. Then the random carpusses are going to pick up saplings that are dropped and replace those. I don't know that we need something dropping additional saplings. I really don't think so. But we'll play it by ear. Usually you don't really need it because the random carpus are going to pick it up fast enough and place it. That as long as we have a slower delay on the kind of the general item input, then I think that's going to be fine for us. Let me break that off. But we'll see how things go. And then what we're going to do is down here, we're going to put in a couple more hopper hawks. Actually, at this point, let's get 2 of these. And let me go make up a storage drawer. These are going to be the same kind of storage drawers that we used before, even though these are going to be kind of out of view, I think. But that's fine. And this will actually work to kind of filter without needing item frames, because the hopper hawks are only going to be able to insert specific items with these. So I think this will be good for us. So what we'll do is we'll have, let's do a hopper hawk here with a storage drawer here. No. Storage drawer here. And we'll have another hopper hawk here with a storage drawer here. This one is going to be holding apples, and we're going to be using those apples as well. And this one's going to be holding saplings. And let me lock these in. And we're going to take our infestation spores and we're going to right click on those. And that's so that they go later than the random carpus. So if saplings get dropped, they're going to first, the random carpus is going to have time to try to pick it up and do something with it. And after that, then it will go into this, you know. So for example, if we come out and we throw down, say, 10 saplings, we give it just a moment here, it's going to plant down, well, let me plant down 1. That's because this picked it up. The hopper hawks are getting it before it has a chance to, that's fine. We'll just make a dropping system and that'll fix it. But okay, so we're going to make a dropping system for the saplings, just to make this work a little bit better for us. What we're going to do, and I don't think they produce sticks in this pack. I can't remember, but we'll find out as this runs. If there ends up being sticks all over the place, then we'll know that we've got to put something there for sticks. Okay, and that can see through item conduits. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plug up item conduits here. You know, we could go with something a little bit fancier, but I think this is going to be okay. And what we'll do, we'll come up to here. That can still see through, beautiful. And we'll put a hopper just there for just a second. And we're going to say that you can insert, it's going to go straight into an open crate, and that open crate is then going to drop down to Podzol right there. So there's 3 hovering hourglasses, and we're just going to be using standard sand for this. So each piece of standard sand counts as 1 second. We're going to set it up right over here instead, just kind of out of the way. And we're going to throw in, say, 7 pieces of sand, and we're going to bring a little bit of redstone out from that. So that way every time it spins it activates. But we're going to have that feed into a redstone torch. Right here is probably where we're going to need a repeater, I imagine. We'll see. But then we're going to put in that. We're going to bind that to that. And we're going to say extract is always active. So it's actually going to fill this up with saplings. There we go. That's a bit better. And then if they're not used, then they're picked back up by the hopper hawk and just deposited into the frame drawer. Okay, I'll tell you what, we're going to end this episode out here. We're going to have to make this into a two-part thing just to kind of keep the length down. So I am going to end out this episode here, and the next episode we'll pick back up. We'll finish this off. Of course, I'm recording this after finishing the next episode, so it's already up and running for me. But we're going to finish it out next episode. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.